welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Cass, and today we're going to do a little book haul. Last month I hit up some thrift stores looking at pre-owned books, and I got quite the haul, but I hadn't had a chance to share it. And I do have a lot of books, let's see, to share with you guys today. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I have 19 books to share with you all. So I'm not going to go into details on every single book, but I will kind of show you the book and what condition it's in and how much I paid for it, so you can see what thrifting for books can look like. I really love thrifting because a lot of books get donated in like new condition or very, very good condition. Sometimes they're also in very bad condition, but you can find some steals there, and they're always very low priced, so it's very economically kind to your wallet. And I just think we live in such a culture of consumerism. I'm guilty, especially with buying books. But I like that I'm giving these books a second chance at life, and for like a fraction of the cost of buying brand new books at the store. Because a lot of these books are in wonderful condition and like new, and they deserve to be loved for a second time, or maybe it's even the first time. So, the first book I'm going to share with you is called 7 Ages of Paris by Alistair Horn. I'm actually not very familiar with this book. I'd never heard of it before, but it caught my eye. It looks like it's a historical fiction book. That was printed This edition was printed in 2004, originally copyright in 2002. So I think it's about 20 years old. But the painting just grabbed my attention. When I read the back of the book, it looked interesting to me. And when I'm in the right mood, I love a good historical fiction. And also, when I buy books, sometimes I look up on Goodreads, like what it's rated. And so usually when I'm buying books, if it sounds good, I'll look it up. And if it has like a 3.8 average or higher, and it looks interesting to me and it's a good deal, I'll usually get it. So probably every book I'm showing you today, unless I had another reason for picking it up, is probably rated 3.8 or higher average. I still have the tags on here. I don't know if you can actually see it, but this book was $2. Okay. The next book I'm going to show you is a pretty well-known book and television series. It was turned into a series on, I thought for sure it would say it on here. I want to say it was on Hulu. but it is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I really like this author a lot. I've enjoyed every book I've read of hers. I think I've read all of her books. This is a literary fiction. It's like a dramatic, me trying to describe this book. It's a dramatic literary fiction that covers the main topic is racism, like systemic racism. That's still hiding like in present day, so it's a contemporary drama. I did not watch all of the television show, but I did read the book and I really enjoyed it, and I don't have a copy of it. And this book is seriously like new. You would never know that this book was pre-owned. It's even in better shape than some of the books at the bookstore that just have basic shelfware. So I just wanted a copy for my shelf for my kids to eventually read someday. And this was $1.50. The next book that I found is called Loving What Is. And this is a nonfiction book by Byron Katie. And I have read this book 2 times. But I first picked it up after my divorce. It's like a healing, self-help, personal development book. And I really credit this book for major breakthroughs I made after my divorce in my healing journey. I highly recommend this book. And I always checked this book out from the library prior to finding it at the thrift store. And again, it looks brand new. Like, there are no signs of use. I always flip through them at the store to see if there's any like writing inside or any damage, or you also have to look for like mold and things because it's coming out of people's homes. This book is like perfect. It looks brand new. And again, I just wanted it for reference. I'd love to read this book again at some point and annotate it. And also, that way I have a copy I can lend out to people, because I like being able to lend out books that I recommend. This book was $1.50. The next book I'd been wanting to pick up, and I almost bought this book brand new recently. So I'm really glad I didn't, because I found it at the thrift store in like new condition. Again, like seriously, these books, they look brand new. Like, there is no damage. The cover is in perfect condition. And this is Young Jane Young, a novel by Gabrielle Zevin. And Gabrielle Zevin wrote Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. lend out to people. And I love this book. This book is also nonfiction, personal development. Highly recommend it for women who are trying to forge their own path and learning how to set boundaries. Glennon also has a podcast with her sister and her wife that's also very good, called We Can Do Hard Things. We can do hard things, we can do hard things, we can do hard things. Which I highly recommend. But I saw it on the shelf and it was only $1.29. Looks brand new. So of course I picked it up. The next book I got from the same thrift store. And this is a classic, really. It's Man's Search for Meaning by Victor E. Frankl. A quote on the back says, "One of the great books of our time." If you haven't read this book, I highly recommend this book to anyone, even if you're not a reader. This man was a psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps. And it's a bit of a memoir, but kind of his overall experience with watching people die, with the Holocaust, and how to find meaning in life, even in the worst possible scenarios, like the worst possible circumstances. And he kind of analyzes why some people survived the concentration camps and others didn't, like the psychological side of it. Obviously, there was a lot of things, everyone was a victim. There's a lot of things out of their control. But he delves into the psychological effects and how much power our brain has over our survival and the way, like our resilience and the way we survive trauma. It's pretty short. It's only 154 pages. So you could read it in a few hours. But it's very good. And definitely one I will reread many times in my life. And I didn't have a copy of it. I own the audiobook, but I didn't have a physical copy. $1.29. This book's gonna blind you. The next book is by Elif Shafak, and I recently read her book, The Island of Missing Trees, and I loved it. I really, really loved it. It was very special, and it made me want to read all of her other books. I found this one. Called The Bastard of Istanbul. And I love this cover. Really pretty. I think it matches the version of An Island of Missing Trees that I have, because there's several different publishers for this author. I don't actually know anything about this book. I just know that I really liked this author's writing, so I picked it up. But it looks like it's about an Armenian American who's living in San Francisco, and she has to go back to Turkey. And then a woman who's living in Turkey. And we kind of learn about these two women and their backgrounds, and there's some kind of familial connection, I believe. There's some kind of connection between their families. And so it sounds like we unravel a little bit of a mystery. I'm guessing based on the title, The Bastard, there's some kind of relation, like maybe a long lost sibling or something like that. Anyway, even though I haven't read any of her other books, I've heard nothing but good things, so I would highly recommend this author if you like literary fiction or historical fiction. It's historical fiction, but tends to be more modern, like more recent in time, right? Like, I believe The Island of Missing Trees took place like in the 60s, 70s, and 80s or something like that. So you know what I'm saying? It's like historical fiction, but doesn't, it's more recent times. $1.29. Okay. Now we're back to books with a price tag. This book I had never heard of, but it grabbed my attention. And it was the winner of the National Book Award. And it's called Let the Great World Spin by Colum McCann. Let's see. It was an award winner. This one has a little more shelfware to it. You can see just a little bit of marking on it, but honestly I can probably clean that off. And you can tell that the cover has a little bit of shelfware. But the pages are in perfect condition. And there is like a little bit of a crease right here in the back of the back cover here. But it's the back cover. It's not super noticeable. And it was $1.50. $1.50. I honestly have no idea what it's about. It just has a ton of praise. And obviously got an award and is a national bestseller. And must have had a rating of 3.8 or better collectively. That's why I picked it up. I don't really like to know too much about books before I read them. I just find I have a better experience when I don't have really any expectations. I also don't like to read a book when it's too hyped. I usually have to wait for the hype to die down because it'll mess with my reading experience. But yeah, there's no summary on the back. These are all just like quotes and praise for the book. So look it up on Goodreads if you want to know what it's about. The next book is Unaccustomed Earth by Jhumpa Lahiri. This author is the author of The Namesake, which was an award-winning book a few decades ago. Like I think I was, so maybe like 20, 25 years ago. And I have The Namesake somewhere, but I actually have not yet read it. But I really want to. I haven't been reading as much literary fiction lately, but I love literary fiction. So these books are like a wine cellar to me. I buy the books, I put them on the shelf. I'm supporting authors. It's a piece of art. And it's there when I'm ready for it. When I'm in the right mood, when it's the right time, when I need it, when it's resourceful. It's there on my shelf. I can take it off the shelf and enjoy it at the right time. And this is how I justify buying books. My book buying habit. I also justify it by buying the books at the thrift store. Because, like, $1, you know? So this book was a #1 national bestseller and winner of the Pulitzer Prize. Also a New York Times Book Review Best Book of the Year. And it was $1. $1. It's got some minor shelfware. Like, you can tell that it's not new. You can tell it's just a tiny bit worn on the edges. And the pages aren't as crisp and white, as they probably once were. But the pages are clean. There's no writing. They're all in good shape. And it's well worth the $1. $1, $1, $1, $1, $1, $1, $1, $1, $1. Why do I love the sound of books so much? I just love everything about books. Even the sound of them, the smell of them, what's inside, how they look. I just love books so much. I like how this one sounds. It's very nice to flip through. It's got very flippy, floppy pages. Is that a thing? Yeah, like very floppy pages. Like it's very fluttery. The pages are also kind of soft. I think that's from use for shelfware. Just happened with time, but I like it. Also, I don't mind when a book shows signs of use or wear, or has writing in it all the time. Like sometimes I like the annotations, or I like seeing like an inscription in the front cover. But right now, I think all of these books are in very good to like new condition, so no writing on the inside. $1. $1. The next book I'm going to show you is, I believe, a historical fiction book. I just know this author writes historical fiction, so I'm pretty sure this is historical fiction. But it's by Kate Morton, and it's called The Forgotten Garden. And there's a picture of a little cottage and like a stone wall here. It looks like a little house out in the country. Looks very European. It looks like this book, I actually kind of really want to read this now. I just read the back of the book after I said I don't do that. But let me read it too, because it sounds really, really interesting. A tiny girl is abandoned on a ship headed for Australia in 1913. She arrives completely alone with nothing but a small suitcase containing a few clothes and a single book. A beautiful volume of fairy tales. She is taken in by the dockmaster and his wife, and raised as their own. On her 21st birthday, they tell her the truth, and with her sense of self shattered and very little to go on, Nell sets out to trace her real identity. Her quest leads her to Blackhurst Manor on the Cornish coast and the secrets of the doomed Mount Ratchet family. But it is not until her granddaughter Cassandra, hey, my name's in there. It's not until her granddaughter Cassandra takes up the search after Nell's death that all of the pieces of the puzzle are assembled. A spellbinding tale of mystery and self-discovery. The Forgotten Garden will take hold of your imagination and never let go. It says, a novel that takes the reader on an unforgettable journey through generations and across continents as two women try to uncover their family's secret past. So now I'm very intrigued by this book and I want to read it, which is great. I haven't read a historical fiction book in a long time, but I love historical fiction. And a couple years ago, it was all I was reading. So you can see this one has like a little bit of marks on the pages at the top. So you can tell it's definitely pre-owned, not new. It's just like the pages have some blemishes, like just on the outside. Mostly just looks like probably from shelf wear or being moved. But the actual cover is in perfect condition. Like, it looks new. It actually looks a teeny bit dirty right here, but I can tell because I revive enough of these books that I'll be able to wipe that right off with like a damp cloth or like a wet wipe. And I've learned a few tricks for cleaning up used books that have like these marks on it. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know and I can kind of teach you how to doctor up these books with very like minor blemishes that you get secondhand. Yeah, I'm going to put this on my TBR for this fall because this is definitely catching my attention. Oh, I just opened up the cover and I saw that the front page has this beautiful painting. Three girls. Three girls dancing. It looks very fallish, very fall-esque. It's got a tree and like leaves blowing in the wind. I think that's why this grabbed my attention, because doesn't that scream fall to you? It's like the fall colors and all the trees. Anyway. Yeah. I have a girlfriend that loves this author. It's like, I think it's one of her favorite authors. But I haven't read any of her books yet. I really need to because I love historical fiction. But then I got like out of my historical fiction reading and I haven't really gone back to it. But I'm going to check this out and I'm going to ask my friend if she's read it. Okay. Oh wait, did I tell you the price of that one? This one was $1.50. $1.50. This book looks brand new. Like it is like in perfect condition. And it's a very popular book. Been around for a long, long time. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Someday I want to read this. And it was only $1. And looks brand new. So I thought, what the heck? I'll pick it up and put it on my shelf so it's there when I'm ready for it. If you've read this book, let me know what you thought of it and if you thought it was helpful. It's an older book, but I know that a lot of people still really refer to it and recommend it for financial advice and like financial independence. So let me know what you think. But for only $1, I thought it's worth it to at least pick it up and have the option. The next book is another nonfiction book. It's called The 5 Love Languages of Teenagers. Teenagers. Do you have any teenagers? Because I have 3. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 teenagers in my house. Let me tell you, being a parent to teenagers is like a whole different ballgame. I think every person is different. I think every parent is different, and obviously every child is different. But I think there's like 2 kinds of parents. I think there's parents who loved being parents to babies and struggle with the teenagers, or just prefer the little kids to the teens. And there's parents who, I guess I'm speaking more about mothers. I don't really talk to dads all that often about this kind of thing. But like my girlfriends and, other moms that I know. Or they struggled so hard with like the baby and toddler phase when you're like getting no sleep and you're potty training and all those things. And they love the teenager phase when their children are like little adults and becoming more independent. And really, I just love my children. I love all phases, but I'll tell you what, for me, being a parent to babies and toddlers, way easier. Like, way easier. I would take those days back over. Someday I'm gonna have 5 teenagers. Let's see. Yeah, my youngest daughter will kind of like just becoming a teenager, when my oldest daughter will kind of move out of the teenager years and into adulthood, like early 20s. It's so hard, you guys. It's so hard. I'm not gonna lie. Teenage years are rough. It's so hard to parent teens, and it's even harder for me because like the world my kids are living in as teenagers is completely different than the world that I grew up in. Like when I was a teenager, we didn't have cell phones at school. Like nobody had a cell phone. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have social media. It's just a different world. So hard to parent children in an environment that you're not familiar with yourself, like you haven't exactly been in their shoes. Yeah. Anyways, have you read The 5 Love Languages, the original book? I really love that book. I think it's very relatable. Like I think pretty much anyone could relate to it, and it's so like relevant and helpful for every kind of relationship, whether you're in a romantic relationship or in your friendships or just in your family. And definitely used the love languages with my children, and it makes a huge difference in the way that I parent them and relate to them and show them love. And so when I saw this on the shelf, specifically for teenagers, I thought I probably need that. So, this is by Gary Chapman. He also has one that's for like children, the 5 love languages of children. And I don't know, there's different versions of this book, but the original is just called The 5 Love Languages, and I would recommend it to everyone. But I'm gonna check this guy out and see if like the teenage version gives me any new insight that I don't already have. And again, this book is like new, like it's in perfect condition. And it was $1. $1. Is anyone keeping a tab? If anyone is keeping a tab, because I wasn't, put it down in the comments. Give me my grand total at the end of this video. Just curious how much I spent on all of these books, but I think I got them all. What did I say? That I had like 19 books, and I think I got them all for like, I don't know, less than $40. I think 30 something, maybe even less. No, probably 30 something. Anyway. Okay, the next book is The Will to Change: Men, Masculinity, and Love by Bell Hooks. She is, I think it's a she. Yes. She's also the author of All About Love, which is a pretty popular, well-known book. It's older. Like, this is an older author, and these books are older. But I think her work is still very relevant. I think it was quite progressive at the time. And I really love psychology, if you haven't noticed. And I do read a lot of nonfiction. I haven't lately, but I do read nonfiction. I like to learn about things. I like to understand people. And I like to work on myself. I read a lot of personal development books for my own personal growth, my own personal healing, and then also like to help raise healthy, resilient children and to have healthy relationships. So I just thought this sounded very interesting. And it was $1. Another $1. Okay. This is the last book in the pile of adult books, and then I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 like young adult or children's books that I got for my kids. And then I'm going to show you a blind date with a book. Because when I'm not shopping for myself, I'm shopping for a little like passion project side business that I have here locally. So I'll show you that in a minute. This book is The London Bookshop Affair by Louise Fine. I think it's Fine. Pretty sure it's German. Fine. It looks like it's a dual timeline book taking place. One timeline is in London, 1962, And the other timeline is France, 1943. And this quote on the back says, "Fine expertly pairs the devastation of long-held family secrets with the shadowy world of Cold War espionage to create a skillfully told novel inspired by incredible true stories." Ooh, I like that. An utterly atmospheric and completely compelling read. Two courageous women, one astonishing secret, a world on the brink of war. Interesting. Again, I liked the vibes of this book. It was highly rated. This is just like a residual sticker that I can peel off. I just haven't done it yet. So really this book is in like new condition. It was $1. Yeah, it looks brand new. Like the pages are even still pretty crisp. There's like no signs of it ever. I don't even know if this book was ever even read by the original owner. It looks pretty untouched. Are raised on the cover, and the base of the cover is matte. Kind of has a texture to it. Oh, it sounds really cool. Just wrapping up and down the cover. Okay. Also, I did get a cover for my mic. I love this sound on ASMR videos. So let me know what you think about it. It's one of those fuzzy covers. But it also protects the mic. So that you don't just like spit into the mic constantly when you're whispering ASMR like this. Like this, like this, like this. Okay. Let's move on to the handful of books that I got for my kids. Even though children can be rougher on books, I often find some really good deals in the children's section as well. So, this is a YA book. Called New World Rising by Jennifer Wilson. Looks like some kind of contemporary urban story. Anyway, I don't really know anything about it, but it looked cool. It's in like new condition. It must have had a good rating on Goodreads because I only pick it up if it has a good rating. And it was $1.50. These are like, what is this? I don't know. It's like not quite matte. Well, it is matte. It's like matte but not textured. I like these covers. I like the finger pad taps on them. Okay. The next one is a hardback book. It's called Thoughts and Prayers. First of all, it looks brand new. The title was intriguing to me. And then I read the back. And the back says, "We are still here, everywhere, all around you. We all pretend to be okay. We survive, no matter what. We stand beside every one of you." This book was National Book Award longlisted author. The author, by the way, is Brian Bliss. And I believe it's about a school shooting, which is a touchy subject, but it's one that is very intriguing to me. It's something that I think about a lot. I was in high school during the Columbine shooting, which was like the first major mass murder in a school setting that was like covered on the news. And I was the same age as some of the people in that school that were shot. And it was all very shocking for me and my peers. It was kind of that one of those moments when you're growing up when you realize that bad things happen, and just because you're young doesn't mean you're invisible, or that you're not, or that you're immortal. Like, you can die, your friends can die. And it was really shocking to realize that something like that could happen at school. And obviously that's just become a bigger issue the older I've gotten. And now I have children who go to school, and there's school shootings all the time, and it just kind of blows my mind. Anyway, so the school shooting aspect really grabbed my attention. So I actually think I'll read this book, even though it's YA, and also put it on the shelf for my kids, my teenagers. This was $2. Again, it's like new. It's a hardback book for $2. It looks like new. Like there are no blemishes. It doesn't even really have shelf wear. Like, I would guess that it never got read. Really quickly, this has a really cool naked cover for ASMR. I don't know if you can tell because I have the lighting, the settings that I have on my light right now. But there's this embossing on the cover. So it's textured. Just right here. Looks like it's supposed to be a tree. Sounds really cool. I like how the font on the hard, or on the naked spine, matches. Like, sometimes it's just boring underneath. It also feels pretty cool. Makes a cool sound. Anyway, I like that it has the same vibes as the cover. Three more, you guys. This book is called of My Mind by Sharon Draper. And it has this bowl, this goldfish bowl on the table, like full of water, but there's no goldfish because the goldfish is jumping out. You can see like all the little bubbles behind the fish jumping out of the water. And it says like a novel. But can you see those bubbles on there? They kind of reflect. So it's the fish out of water, fish out of water. It's a pretty minimalist cover. But then on the back, you can see the fish inside the bowl. So this book shows a little more wear, like you can see. You can see on the cover that the corner was bent down, but I was able to actually like straighten it back out. And I bet that if I pressed it between some books, it would flatten back out. But you can see like a little bit of wear around the corners and the edges of the cover. And the pages, you know, they're not like crispy white. You can tell that they've been touched. They're definitely not like clean and new. The book is still in very good shape. Like, I would consider this very good condition, excellent condition. It's not like new, but it's pretty dang good. And the pages are clean. The binding is good. I've seen this book around a lot. I do see it at Barnes & Noble a lot. So I was happy to pick it up for my kids for only $1. $1. The next book if you have any middle school aged kids, you've probably seen this book before, or at least like a book in this series. This is the Warrior series, and I think it's about magical cats. I'm like pretty sure. Yeah. Pretty sure it's like magical talking cats, and it's a whole series. My oldest daughter loved this series in middle school. I think to this day she says it was like one of her favorites. It's by Erin Hunter. This is book number 1, so I found it on the shelf. And I got this at the same thrift store where I got the other untagged books. And children's books at that store are only $1. Well, 99 cents. So 99 cents, 99 cents. So I picked this up, especially since it was book number 1, because it is in like new condition. And my daughter loved the series, but we didn't actually own it. She used to check it out from the school library. So now we have one of the warriors, called Warriors Into the Wild. I don't know if that's going to make a difference with the sound, but I'm just kind of testing things out because I'm still getting used to my new mic. Okay, the last book that we're going to talk about is a Dogman book. My youngest daughter, who's 9, is obsessed with Dogman books. In fact, for Christmas last year, one of the big things she asked for was like this Dogman book series. So I got her like the first 6 books in the series. And now I can't remember. I think this is book number 2. Pretty sure this is book number 2. It's Dogman, A Tale of Two Kitties. By, is it Dave or Dav Pilkey? It's the same author as Captain Underpants. And this is very much like a graphic novel, which, you know, for both adults and children alike. Is very popular. So anyway, this book is in very good to like new condition, and it was only 99 cents. So we actually already own this one, but I thought it would be, for the price, a great book to pick up as a gift, you know, for friends or niece or nephews, because it's only $1. And these retail for $9.99, which isn't really too bad. New, but you know, $1 versus 10, still a better price. So if you have kids and you have a kid that like the Dogman books, tell me what else you recommend, because I'm looking for other series for my daughter. And actually, she and I read some graphic novels together that are like actually targeted for older audiences, but they're fun for us to read together. So maybe I'll share those sometime. Yeah. Okay, so this is the final book I picked up from my thrift haul. And then I'm going to show you what I do with them when I don't keep them, when I buy them for my little side business. Because right now I only sell them locally, but I want to know from you guys if it's something that you would buy online, because I can ship them anywhere in the country. Like currently I also sell them to like my friends and stuff and ship them in the country, but it's not really like public access. So let me know your thoughts, like if this is something that you would buy online, like either through a website or on Etsy or whatever. So because I'm passionate about, you know, sustainability and about buying pre-owned books and saving money and giving really good books a second chance at life. I take books that I find on the shelf that are, like new, and I turn them into blind date with a book so that people can buy them as a gift for themselves, like as a surprise, or as gifts for others. But it's a fun way to distribute pre-owned books and get people reading outside of their comfort zone, and kind of a way to like recommend books and get your hands on books that aren't mainstream right now, like books that aren't being like pushed on BookTok or just trending, like, because there's so many good books out there. We only hear about like a literal teeny tiny fraction of them on social media. And so this is one way that I wanted to spread literature and literacy. So let me grab it. Okay, so this is just one of my blind date with a book that I make with pre-owned books. I try to recycle as much as possible, so I will use whatever, like, I will reuse wrapping paper, I will use newspaper, whatever's around. If I don't have anything to reuse, then I will just, wrap it in regular paper. But even like my packaging is reusable. I reuse boxes from subscriptions that I have and Amazon packaging. I just really try to like recycle stuff as much as possible. And so this is a book. This is like the description. So it says, this is a historical fiction, a European romance, British royalty. One of the themes is marriage of duty versus marriage of love. It was written in 2011 and it's 502 pages in like new condition. So I always put the condition of the book on there. And then I decorate it, and I try to kind of decorate it with the theme of the book. So I try to like keep it all together like a theme. So these stickers on here, they just give off the same vibes as the book. And then every blind date book comes with a bag of tea, so you can try different flavors of tea. And so that when you, like if you buy a blind date book for yourself, then you can like have a date with yourself, and you can like make your cup of tea and open up your book, and have a cozy night with yourself. And then each book comes with bookish stickers that they're just popped on here, so you pop them off and they're usable. So they're vinyl stickers that you can use yourself to put on your Tumblr or your Kindle or whatever you want to use them for. But each book comes with 2 bookish stickers and then a bag of tea and a bookmark. So this is the bookmark for this one. And every book is different, but again, I try to like keep it with the theme or the vibe of the book. So you can see that this one like everything kind of gives you like a historical romance type of vibes. Even the wrapping paper here. I don't know if you can see. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see right now. And then what I do is, I'm going to cover this up so you can't see it, but I put a little sticky note on the back here so that I know what book it is, so that I don't forget. And then when people buy it, like if people order it or buy it, I take the little sticky note off. And it's also kind of how I keep track of my inventory. But the other thing I do for people is, if you have a Goodreads or somewhere that you keep track of the books you're reading, and you're worried about buying a book that you've already read, or also like if you're trying to give a gift to somebody, if you give me your Goodreads account, I'll go look and see if it's a book you've read before. So I'll make sure you don't buy a book you've already read. Or if you read the description and you're like, this sounds like this book and I've already read it, so if that's what it is, I don't want to buy it, then you can ask me. Like, people will say, is it XYZ? And I'll say yes or no. Because I don't want you to be disappointed. But it's a really fun thing, and I just do like little holiday shops and seasonal festivals and stuff here locally, and like markets and stuff. But I have been thinking about opening up an online shop, so let me know if that's something you're interested in. I know within the United States I can mail these books with media mail shipping for like very inexpensively, so shipping doesn't get too out of control. Anyways, so I often go thrifting to find books for my little business, but then I'm getting books for myself, because I just love finding these. It's like a treasure hunt. I love finding these good books on the shelf that are just looking for the right owner. And blind date is really fun because the feedback I've gotten from people is that they've read a lot of books they would have never otherwise picked up and really enjoyed them, Oh, also, I tend to pick up and sell books that I've already read that I can personally recommend. But if I find a book that looks interesting, and it's in like new condition, I will also look up the ratings on Amazon and Goodreads. And generally, if it has a 4, it usually has to have like a 4.0 star rating or higher. And especially if it's a book I've never read, I'll put the star rating also on here. So sometimes I'll put like Goodreads rated at this star level or whatever. So you have an idea of kind of what you're getting yourself into, just enough to know that you're getting something you'll like, but not enough that you'll still be surprised and it'll be like a novel experience. Haha, novel. Pun was not intended, but it's a good one. Okay, you guys. I think that's it. Did anybody do a running total of how much I spent on my budget pre-owned book haul? I actually did get more books than this, full disclosure, which is why I don't know how much I spent, because I bought books for my business. So these are just the books I bought for myself that I'm going to put on my shelf, but I bought many more that I'm going to wrap up into those blind date books and sell. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Let me know what you thought about this video, and let me know if you like to buy pre-owned and like where your favorite places to shop. I also shop at Half Priced Books, and I also I also buy pre-owned on Amazon, like whenever possible. If I'm looking for a book, I will always check Amazon, and below the new price, you can go down to other listings and you can find other sellers who are selling the book pre-owned. And I can often find books on there for like half the cost that are like new or like very, very good condition. And most of the time they still have the Amazon backing, like the return policy and stuff. So I highly recommend buying pre-owned whenever possible. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this or found it valuable in any way, please hit the subscribe button below and become part of my bookish community. Love you guys all so much. I'll see you in the next one.